Hey, it's the boys, the
Yup.
most lovable podcast, psandbs live for a weird reaction video. I don't think we've ever done a reaction video for a dev talk for a game,
No.
but but Bobby wanted to do it. So
Yeah.
guess what? We're doing it.
I think the world wanted it to be done. So, those lights are pretty bright back there. Turn them off.
Let me get me some light.
That's just not working. All right. Well, here we are. 5 minutes. It starts in 5 minutes. You know the deal. We always start up early. Try to get a little audience in. It's Friday night or afternoon, not night. Jeez, what am I saying? Friday afternoon, 1:50 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, Blizzard better have some big answers. I will have to say, though, after playing for a little while, the new season with a new character, all the stuff that we felt in those patch notes, you don't really feel them too much because you're on a new character, not properly built yet. You don't have your proper affixes. You don't have your proper gear. We were all crying about the buffs or the nerfs based off of our old characters, which is still there and we can use them. But still, it's like, I mean, we were just knocking out what were we doing? Strongholds.
Yep.
And bro, that shit was tough. Like it took a long time. I mean, we were running hard nightmare dungeons, and we all died to a stronghold, and the boss reset.
Mm-hmm.
So still definitely challenging, which isn't a bad thing, but I don't know. I think they just did too much. It's one thing of oh, here we go. So we have a special guest. Let's bring him on. Oh, what? What's up,
Hey.
Larry? Dang, you looking all crispy. Sheesh.
What up, Bubba?
I gotta step up my game.
One second.
Gotta step. Hey man, the Crispy brothers are here.
I just said I need a new camera. I do gotta get a new camera.
My friends, yeah.
Yeah, we might need a link for that camera though.
Yeah.
What camera is that?
Yeah, definitely.
That ain't a regular camera, bro.
Love you.
No.
This is Hexago off Amazon. I don't know. Works well though.
I mean, I got mine off of Amazon and it worked good for a while, but I can tell it's getting old.
Yeah.
So what's up, Larry? How's it going?
No, man, I'm interested to see about this TED Talk we're about to get into.
Welcome to
welcome to my
the
TED Talk.
psandbs live.
Right.
And
psandbspod. I like that. That's cool.
Yes. We're currently live. Oh, why isn't it? There you go. There's no more countdown. What happened to the countdown?
Uh-oh. They canceled it.
Oh no. Did they back out already?
It's still saying starting soon, but there's no countdown anymore.
Well, they got 2 minutes. It's 1:58.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Blizzard's gonna push it out.
So Larry here has been running Diablo with us since it came out a month ago. And he too, like everyone else, severely felt the wrath that was update 1.04, 1.05?
Brutalized.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane. I mean, he was running tier 55, 4, 6 dungeons by yourself.
Yeah, up around 60 basically, and then
he jumped into a tier 54 and couldn't get past the first mob with an elite. With one of the best
absolutely wrecked.
Barbarian builds,
They got turned upside down pretty hard.
Yeah. So we just thought, hey, let's get on. I'm booting up the share screen now. Let's get on it now, and let's see what they have to say. I'm curious to see if they're gonna fix anything, if they're gonna give us anything. people are saying they don't care if they keep it the way it is, but just give us some of the quality of life changes we were asking for. You know.
Yeah, the
Or at
only
least-
thing I will
more
say
stat space.
before it starts, like we were talking about while we were playing, starting from level 1, what they did doesn't feel as terrible as being 100 and getting destroyed.
Yeah.
So
But like I said before you jumped in,
we'll see what they say.
we struggled, not like super bad, but it took us a while to get that last stronghold.
Right?
You
Yeah.
know?
That
I mean,
boss was
that
tough.
stronghold felt like a top tier nightmare dungeon.
Yeah.
You know, granted, we're not built yet. Nobody has the right things,
And
and
nobody's
we're kind of just
aspected and all that
we're
stuff.
just kind of just throwing gear and abilities around, and
Yeah.
but still,
Yeah, like we were saying, I'm not even looking at like top-notch builds. I'm just trying to feel out what powers feel good because I'm not really sure.
yeah.
I'm just trying to survive in the streets of Diablo. That's all.
Yeah, Trav definitely felt it because
Trav
I mean, it was level 30. I was only 25. He was 13. But I mean, still, it's like, I wonder if I should try to refresh.
It's playing. You can tell it's playing. It's not on us. But I mean, you can refresh if you want. Go ahead and refresh.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's on Diablo.
How many people are on already? 16,777.
Yeah, 16,000.
Yeah, so we're not alone. We're here. We're in the right place.
we here
We here.
We here.
with many
Oh,
others.
they late.
And that number,
we're in the right room.
I'm sure
So
that
what do y'all
number's
think?
gonna go.
What do you think we're gonna get? We're gonna get them saying, "Hey, this is what it is. Stop being bitches," or are we gonna get anything out of this? Are they gonna?
I think we're gonna get a little bit of both.
I mean, I know they already have a couple hot fixes online.
Yeah,
that
I saw that they
working.
hot fixed the whole needing us to be a certain level for tier 3 and tier 4 worlds. They already fixed that.
Fixed the cinder output apparently in the hot fix already.
Yes, apparently that was a bug.
Yeah, that was a bug.
They're saying that was a bug
they
on
called
why it
that
wasn't
a bug
dropping.
immediately.
They called it a bug.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that though.
I mean,
why put it
to 250? Why put it to 250 and kill?
And drop it 60% rate.
Yeah, no, that's not. That had to have been a bug. There's no way around it.
So apparently now they're dropping cinders properly. Cinders are supposedly falling out of like the random stuff that you interact with around the area. I haven't done one yet because new season stuff.
Yeah, I haven't even run through it. Well, I mean, we can't even get there yet. Not till tier 3. So
yeah. So man,
soon enough. I mean, the first dungeon still says level 50 for the tier up, so they didn't change that.
Well, you're almost there.
Close. What am I at? 30? What am I at? 36 now?
Damn.
38.
See, we take an hour off to eat, Trav. Look at that, man. He went up like 6 more levels.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Blizzard, we heard your cries, guys, so we decided to make the game even worse. Blizzard employees, clap, clap, clap. I believe that too. I believe that too. Like I understand.
It's like the same boat of Call of Duty, bro. Everybody throws out all their complaints and this, that, and the other, and they just tank it.
Yeah,
they continue to do the opposite of what we said.
Somebody goes in the room and says, "Hold my beer."
Hold my beer. Let me handle this.
That's what they did with the sorcerer. That's what they did with the sorcerer. They were like, "Oh wow, we really didn't mean to make the sorcerer that weak." Yeah, hold my beer.
What about like?
It's funny too because when at the beginning,
Necromancer needs more respect.
Sorcerer and Barbarian were at the top at the beginning. No.
Well, in the beta,
I was using Necro at first.
In the beta, it was Necro. I mean, the skeletons were just stupid.
Slaying shit.
So that got instant nerfed. We knew that was going to happen. I mean, they nerfed it to non-existent almost.
Oh, the actual
beta,
warriors were strong in the beta?
Yeah, in the beta, bro, you pop them skeletons, they never died, and they one-shotted everything.
Like, I wish they would have kept that. I would have kept playing my Necro.
Like it was, well, I mean, maybe not like that, but you know, a good balance somewhere in there,
Something.
They completely just destroyed that.
The warriors and the mages, even the golem, don't.
Oh
feel
my
like
god, is that
anything.
John? Yo, what's up, John? After the game actually came out, I would have to say the barb the Barb and the Druid late game were top tier.
Right.
And, mid game, it was Sorcerer was in that B tier.
Oh, here we go. Let's get it.
Okay.
Oh, they gonna try to fool us.
They gonna try to see what they do.
Why are they giving us
throw a video up right for you?
Why are they giving us the beginning
to
the
let's hear it.
season?
Let's hear it. I think we've all
A
seen
new
this.
festering curse now spreads its corruption.
I know what
across
time
the
it is,
land.
guys.
Yeah,
More
time for the
dangerous,
trickery. Let's see.
More malignant than I could
I
have
wouldn't be
imagined.
surprised if Microsoft told Blizzard to make it
I
worse on
found a way to
PS5.
stop
Wow.
this plague. Dark power
Yeah,
of
what?
these
How do I
monsters
see
from their
that?
very
There's
core.
a chat, okay.
And
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
it
hit the
to
chat
our
and then
advantage
stream.
in destroying them.
Keep it on stream side, not private. Well, private we can chat to each other, but you won't see them.
I honestly have had very few
Bob, can you show your age
on
sometimes?
PS5.
What?
Strength is doing
You
I've had
said,
very
yeah,
few
keep it on stream.
Malignant
But if you
are
put it on
vast
private,
and without mercy,
we'll talk to
I
each
need
other.
help.
What?
I
What?
need
Okay, whatever.
you.
Never mind.
But no, private is a chat if we got to say something to each other, without speaking. All right, here we go.
Hello, Diablo community. Welcome to another
Hello.
Diablo 4 Campfire chat. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the associate.
Adam, we need more energy,
director
more
of
energy.
community
I
Presence.
need more
Diablo.
hype, dog.
I'm
Well,
joined
this
here
is
by
how he
Joe
is.
Shelley, game director of Diablo 4, and Mr. Joe Pipora, the associate game director.
I think all
for,
three of them should have their legs
Diablo
crossed
4.
at the
We
same
have a
time.
lot to talk about today. Obviously, we have this campfire chat because we do want to talk about the patch that just released this past week, which is patch 110. We've seen a ton of feedback. We've heard a lot of feedback.
They heard it, they
So
felt it.
We do want to go
seen it.
through, a lot of the points of feedback that we've been hearing, and at the same time the patch itself.
How many times
The
are you going to
biggest
say
thing that
feedback?
to kind of
At
like
least
kick us
100.
off here, I think we want to obviously acknowledge everyone's feedback in regards to reducing player power. We know it is.
Look, he's
bad.
like, I can't believe
No,
we're doing this. He's
it's
like,
not
I
fun.
seriously can't believe we had to do
It's
this.
something that we ourselves know that it's not the greatest play experience for players out there. We do want to explain why we ended up doing it within the actual patch, and then of course we also want to
Hey,
talk
Joe
about
did
what
it.
we were trying to achieve
It was too
Yeah.
Shelly.
specifically
Yeah.
with this patch and with the changes.
He has
players
that
ended up
that
seeing.
fuck him look on him. Like,
And
I
then
don't give a shit
separately,
about
we
people.
do want to also
It's two
talk
Joes.
about how we don't plan on doing a patch like this ever again. We have most definitely heard the feedback from the players on that front, and we do want to
Like, Joe P was like, but Shelly,
our
if we
philosophy
do
there,
this, this
our-
might kill
our
us.
own internal
Fuck 'em.
statements that we're setting for ourselves for future updates for the game itself. And then, of course, we do want to also talk about how we can talk better and communicate with the community better in regards to patches and updates coming to the game and what we can do to improve on that. So I know that the first thing we do want to talk about, though, as I said, was talking about why we ended up doing
Why
this
we did
patch.
this. All right,
Here
get
we
to
go.
this.
I do want to throw it over
Let me
to
hear.
Mr. Joe Pipora over
Let's
to
do it!
talk a little bit.
It was Joe, baby.
Sure. So I know that we've talked on stream before about our intentions for Diablo 4 being a game about choice, and part of that is ensuring that the
he
various
looks so
class
upset to have to
options
say
sort of
this.
got a place in the meta experience, and that kind of goes to some of the changes we made in 1.1. Now, Adam already called out that
Exactly,
we've
Pop.
heard the feedback in regard to the patch. And we know that reducing player
Real.
power is never a good experience in general. And I want to talk through sort of some of the things that brought us to where we are today in terms of decisions we were making and why. So
The dude in the middle.
a few of the
like,
really
I don't
big
want to
changes
be
were
here.
that were made as part of
I don't want to be
1.1.
here, bro.
First, really, I guess to cooldown reduction. We changed the amount of CDR that players can get as part of in the affix ranges. items that are rolling
Don't
for
start
them,
shaking your
specifically
head
for the
now, middle.
experience. CDR is one of the, if not the most powerful stat in many ways in Diablo 4.
My God. Here we
And
go.
the reason for it is obvious. When you're able to get CDR to a certain point, using certain class
I have to
mechanisms, you're
disagree.
able to get
I
effectively
think stronger.
instantaneous active
Mana
skills.
management is
So,
the most important.
that can give you unlimited.
Well, isn't that what he's talking about? He's
resource,
talking about
give
the-
you
No, he's talking about
unlimited
cooldown
speed, give you
reduction.
unlimited damage resist, and it begins to dwarf the effectiveness of other options when you can start trying to take these things into account. Now, we know that blasting through content with those things is really fun, so it feels really, really painful when it takes some of those things away. And we certainly don't relish the idea. That was the original thinking for these sorts of bits. One of the reasons why we think that these builds are very prevalent at the moment is based upon like the nature of some of the endgame content we have in Diablo 4.
I knew this is what we were going to get.
Nightmare Dungeons.
Yeah, you just buried the sorcerer. How is that prevalent?
The reality is that Nightmare Dungeons are...
Look, now the reality. We're talking about reality in a video game.
Actually,
this is where we're taking it.
Based upon the place they fill, the role they fill in the game itself. So tier 100 Nightmare Dungeons are excruciatingly difficult for most players most classes to be able to actually get through. And as a result, it begins to kind of winnow the opportunities and options that players have when they begin to engage with content at that tier. Such that you really do you need to lean on very, very specific builds, very specific setups, with access to things like near instantaneous cooldowns for some skills, in an effort to actually like make it through those spaces. And that was never really the intent of that content. And we see that, right? Players are using Nightmare Dungeons as ways to kind of like level up their glyphs, ways for them to gain experience and loot as they're progressing up. It's largely like a level up system that you're progressing with once you get into world tiers 3 and 4. But they've taken on an outsized role as sort of this new end-game chase opportunity for players who are looking to really challenge themselves. And we love that we want that kind of content and we want that experience for those players. And we feel like we have done a reasonably good job of that with Uber Lilith in the game. But we don't feel that like tier 100 Nightmare Dungeons fulfill the same role at all. Just the nature of the content type doesn't actually work well as that kind of pushing opportunity. So one thing we actually plan on doing,
I don't understand how
we'd hope to get out.
People are killing Uber Lilith in 30 seconds.
We're making a reduction in the difficulty of some aspects of Nightmare Dungeons to kind of retune some things. And the goal here is to say that, we think that roughly where you are with like a Nightmare Dungeon tier 70, that's kind of where we actually want the difficulty to be for a tier 100 as players are going through the experience. So there's still a thing to push for, but it's more reasonable. And as part of this exchange, we know that players really like kind of blasting and pushing hard for these sorts of things. They feel like big achievements. We are going to be looking at creating a new content type, a new endgame content type that's going to be more directly meant to address those sorts of players and give people more things to chase. That's part of the commitment to the live services to make sure that we're always adding new things like this for players to go and try to.
The bush is gone at this point. They didn't knock the bush off the sidewalk.
That's another really big thing. Next, we made a number of changes to.
Once he said Joe, I knew we were fucked.
It was Joe.
Well, it was either Joe or it was Joe.
I mean, in fact, really reducing their effectiveness with some of their most powerful builds at the moment. And the goal at the time was to try to bring their builds back in line with one another, so that we could start trying to bring everything up at once, as opposed to having these things as they are. And this actually leads to a really good conversation about the idea of balance in general.
Now we're talking about ideology. Holy shit!
Choice.
We went from reality to
that's
and we're all okay with balancing.
We're trying to make
how do you go from one extreme to the other
in design in general?
Because now they're talking about rebalancing and bringing everything back up.
Some builds are just simply not performing to the
we
level they need to be because
and now we're going to try to unfuck
the right interactions with kind of content.
Slowly.
Unfuck
you slowly.
Yeah. It's like, when you like buy something, they instantly take it off your card. When you want your money back,
in terms of
5 to 7 business days.
Yeah,
that's what these devs are like. They're
you cannot make balance decisions without kind of accounting for the way that players are going to feel about those things who are playing those classes. Like if our goal is to create ultimately balanced experience, without regard for how much fun the players have as part of the
what do I do with my hands?
No, that's ultimately, that would be like a failure on our part to not.
What do I do with my hands?
Middle guy.
We have
I want to hear
Joe
Shelley.
I want to hear so they kind of address this more clearly. But understand that we've heard this, and we have.
And he's the associate.
To address these sorts of
Joe
things.
Middle is the main director.
Speaks to this
why is this Joe even talking?
No, I think
the main guy should be talking.
There are a lot of players in the community who
looks like
kind
he's
of go
asleep.
deep.
Look like they just woke him up. That's why they were 4 minutes late.
And kind of
he was napping.
Vulnerable damage is a really outsized role that it plays in terms of what
left side Joe has got like Like
to the point where
puppeteer shit going on.
you'll get to certain parts of content, and creatures sort of need to be vulnerable in order for you to feel that
Dude in the middle is the puppet master.
Now, this
like
is
he's
this
talking
is
with his
something
mouth
that we're very
closed.
aware of.
Yeah.
And we made a reduction as part of the 1.1 build that reduced player damage in general, because most players rely on many builds, I should say, rely on vulnerable damage to deal to kind of spike.
So let's just nerf that to the ground, dude.
This is something we also need to talk about. Vulnerable damage is far more potent right now than we actually want it to be in general across the game. I think I've talked about this before.
They said it's too potent
and
as we speak.
We need to make a number of. We need to kind of bring these things back in line. But this
That
is
means
a more
put 'em in the ground.
This is a more complicated
Line
conversation.
means
than simply
ground.
saying we can take a bonus damage to vulnerable creatures number and reduce it by 40% in terms of the kind of the amount of damage you can accrue across different sources, and have that be the way that we solve this problem. Really, I think we all know that the ultimate problem with damage to vulnerable creatures, the fact is multiplicative stacking on top of the base vulnerable damage, which is already multiplicative on its own. Like this is the reason why the stat plays such an outsized role in a lot of player builds. We're going to need to move that to an additive place, but we can't do that without making a number of other adjustments to critical strike damage, to the way that overpowered damage is both calculated and dealt to creatures, and the availability of these things across various builds. There's lots of builds that rely on vulnerable, and they're balanced around the idea that the damage is also multiplicative. So a number of their balance and tuning changes will need to be made in order to be able to bring vulnerable back in line with some of the other options we have out there. So this is how we're kind of thinking about these things moving forward. We want to start trying to be a little more inclusive of all of these decisions when we begin considering which of these balance adjustments we want to make, rather than being in this iterative place where we're making small adjustments to a number of different things along the way with an end goal in mind.
So instead, you make larger adjustments to multiple things along the way.
What the experience is going to be
like. The whole
like
point of balancing is, all right, let's go down a notch. Let's go down a notch.
So for a guy that every time has means problem,
like we do believe that
we believe in the problem.
He basically said we messed up. There were people too strong. We flatlined everyone.
Right.
Now we're going to turn it
and now we're going to fix this.
No, when you drop the game, whatever it is. You can't say, "Oh no, that's not what we meant."
So that's
my bad.
So I know that
like I've already been God. I want to be God again. Sorry.
I just want to make it
nobody's complaining about tweets.
I don't want to be Hercules. I want to be Zeus.
People understand that we do hear the things that they're saying. We do plan on making changes in the near future.
And
kind of thinking philosophically.
Those are the two words we don't want to hear.
Plan 3 seasons out.
And with that, I guess Joe would
at least 2.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So I think it's.
Oh shit.
I think it's a great point.
He's gonna start crying.
Lead in here.
Look, he's stuttering already.
We want, as Adam mentioned, we want to talk about. We kind of talked a little bit about how we got here.
How we got here. You keep saying we. It was you, bro.
What we're gonna do about
what are you
that.
gonna do,
I think one of the really good points you made is like,
he's fishing.
Vulnerable is.
He's fishing,
for
bro.
Example,
he's fishing.
vulnerable is. Like
he's fishing.
Take stat.
Bro, he's going off of what the last dude said. I read this in a
he's
book
just summarizing.
somewhere.
He's summarizing.
The game will be better when that's the case.
Like
But
to make somebody think you're
along the
engaged,
way
all you have
that
to
we're
do
doing
is summarize what they just
the
the
game
last
is
2
less
sentences.
fun. Then we're not fulfilling our obligation to players, right?
That's right.
So
Look, he's
I
not
wanna
even
talk
sure. Our
about,
obligations to the boss.
Our mission statement for the live game.
Oh, there's a mission statement.
And I think we have
We'll be weak.
yeah, perfect. So there are 4 parts to this. We're going to start with the first part. We want the live game to always have a wide variety of viable builds to discover, to put together,
Diablo's mission statement.
to acquire the items for, and to optimize across all 5 of our classes. Second point. Every season should introduce new items and powers that keep the game fresh and increase build variety.
Your mission statement.
Moving on to the third point. The live game should also have continually evolving end game content. And that content needs to have high monster density for powerful builds to mow down. And it needs to have activities that challenge your build.
Which we're good with all the raising all the enemies and the health.
We can't mow down shit right now.
We're okay with that.
I'll get to the fourth point in a second. while Nightmare Dungeons
He's like, I'll get to the last part
are
later.
technically
Yeah,
challenging
he
your
knows.
build,
You know that's the one that they got to
Bullshit.
skate
they're
around.
challenging your
Get off
build
the screen!
in some ways that
So I'm not gonna
right,
talk about
like
fun right now.
being
I'm sorry.
CC'd all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
And-
Only
I wish-
20 tiers of Nightmare
I
Dungeons.
wish they would
where every
take
monster
live
can one-shot
questions.
You, and then if you get killed by one bit of chill,
I
you're
thought that's what
you
they were
imagine?
going
Right,
to
or
do. I
not
thought there was going to
frozen,
be like
these
a
are
question
not
screen
things that the
with
Nightmare
comments
Dungeons
going.
system is doing.
Oh
really
no,
well
this
right
is
now. It's
they
something
they
that's
recorded
challenging
this
content.
like 3
Right.
hours ago and edited.
So
it.
I think
right,
that's
bro.
why it's so important. Your call out that
Oh, that's why it was
we
late. They
plan to
weren't done
introduce
editing.
additional content that fulfills that part of the mission statement to challenge your build.
They
That would
love
be
the hand
suicide.
gestures.
You're right, though.
If we can go back to the screen,
Oh.
I got kind
Oh,
of sidetracked, but I think it was
Make the
really
game
important.
fun.
And of course, ultimately, what we're trying to do is make the game more fun for players, right? Players are at the heart of
How?
everything that we're doing.
Well, it went from
And
fun
the
to
game
none.
is not more fun for players, and we're not making the game. If
We're
players
okay
can't
with making the monster density high
believe
and making the
that
hell tides
as
harder.
the
We
game
want all
evolves,
that.
it will get more fun.
But how do you just cut everybody's
Then
bills in half, basically?
we're not accomplishing our goals either, right?
As
And
it
so the
evolves,
other
it will get more
point I
fun.
want to go to
That's
here
a
is
future
Maybe-
thing.
a
This is
change
not
that,
a
you know,
now
Adam
thing.
was talking
People
about.
wanna play
How do we
now.
make sure that the next time we do
He's
a
like,
patch,
oh, we
Maybe they
want
wanted his game to be
we-
Demon
this
Souls.
doesn't
we
happen,
did a
right?
big thing
And so I wanna
because it's
talk
harder
about
to do
a,
tweaks because then we have to tweak everything.
we call
So
it a
what?
key
Wouldn't you have to do the
process
same?
improvement. That's like
I'm
a
supposed to stop playing, come back in
weird
season
jargon
4
term.
now.
A change that we're making
It'll be better.
that will help us avoid this situation. So I think we have a slide for this.
Oh my god,
When
bro.
we make, and this goes again, this is
These slides are so in depth.
right along what you were
Bro,
saying here. When
what
we make
are we
changes
on?
to increase build diversity, our goal,
This
going
is-
back to the mission
Somebody
statement, is we
made
want to have
this.
a wide variety of viable builds.
Somebody
right?
put time
so
into
when we
that.
make changes that
Well, they only
have
had
the
2 days.
ultimate
They
aim of
only had 2
increasing build
days.
Diversity.
Yo, what's up, Dan?
We need to
Happy birthday,
pair
Dan.
those
Happy birthday.
changes with
Oh,
compelling
birthday, Dan.
alternatives, and that
Parking lot
means
problems.
that
Oh,
there are some builds
Shit,
that'll be
what
what happened to
overpowered.
Buddy?
We lost
And
Larry.
we can't nerf those builds, those
Nope, he's back,
overpowered
I
builds,
think.
Yeah.
without providing compelling alternatives for players to.
Lord knows.
Did you
That's
hit
right.
your
That-
side
it
button
means
on
that
your
things
mouth?
Like when we
didn't hit
identify that
anything.
there are a
The screen
few
went black.
individual like
that was
meta
a
builds or
PSNBS
stats
gods,
that
I don't know.
really powerful, preseason or within a season. That until we have created those other options and redesigned things around the nature of these and made sure that we've lifted up other options and brought everything in line, we're not going to move on those changes. There's going to be always situations where there are extraordinary
So
outliers.
they
that we're
did
gonna
this
they're usually
live
relying
stream
on,
to tell you
actual
guys,
bugs,
suck it up,
that we need to
Suck
address.
it up.
cupcake.
But
Yeah,
when
we
it comes
did
to,
it-
like,
we
trying
did it
to
for the
bring
better
back
of the
line
game.
one
And
another,
we're
we
not
will-
changing it.
we make those decisions.
Yeah.
We have a
We
variety of
run
other
this
options
shit
and alternatives available for players to engage at the same time. So if players see just taking like a toy away, that we're giving lots of other toys, or lifting up other toys.
Oh,
to
we're
make them
lifting
more
other
viable as part of the
toys.
exchange.
He thinks he's
Yeah,
Andy.
and that those toys
so
are.
Wow, really? Toy Story reference?
Yes.
Oh my
So
god.
let's go to the
Where's
second
your
point of
Malignant
this here.
Heart toy?
Um,
Oh my.
when we make changes like this, it's important for us to make them at predictable times. And Adam's going to talk a
this
little
is
bit more about our communication strategy here in a bit.
Well, this is Mike right here.
The start of a season is an
This is
especially
the problem
good
here.
time
Mike's the problem
for meta
because he
changes to
picks
happen
the same
because
build
there's a
from
big
last
refresh,
week.
everyone's rolling new characters, and
Immediately
there's
off
new
rip
seasonal
starts
content.
making the meta.
And changes like that will also
No, come on,
appear internal
cuz.
at the same
Change
time.
it up.
And the third point here,
I couldn't do
as,
that, man.
as Joe alluded to, there
Oh.
are certain situations. We saw a case where
They're gonna bring up the fucking Helltide.
we had a skill that could do 10 to the 37 damage.
Oh.
In cases like that,
Barbarian
where
bleed stun combo
the
had
damage
close to
is
a billion or something.
literally breaking the game, or
That's not
Apparently-
breaking the game.
apparently
If
the
we crack the
sorcerer-
will
code.
still
The
react.
sorcerer
to
had
those
a bug when it
situations, but that
stunned.
doesn't
It hit the
change
elite
the
like
first
for
point
triple
here
damage. I never
in
saw
terms
that
of
triple damage.
allowing builds to be allowed.
I'm just all I'm
And I
saying
think,
is that
Apparently, that was a
you know,
bug.
One of the things that's important for
We're- Our
to
Paragon boys
recognize
weren't
and
right, I
state
guess.
is that
I guess.
ultimately ARPGs, or some people call them hack and slash games, are about power fantasy, right? And they're
Hack and
about us
slash.
inviting players to break the game to some extent, not to crash. Like there are lots of ways to interpret the word break, but
bro. The
and
game didn't
find
break.
fun
People
toys,
won shit.
that we've
People
made,
just versus shit.
do
Yeah.
crazy things with them.
That's like when Destiny puts on
and
that
we need to make
crazy
sure that
ass
we aren't
like
trying to punish players for
community
doing that.
challenge
Like,
where you gotta
because
kill
ultimately
like a
that's
billion
that's the
somethings, and they do
playground
that shit in
built.
2 days,
That's
and they're like,
yeah.
"This is
we
supposed
built
to
the game
last
that's
3
like,
weeks.
Go find
Yeah.
What do we
crazy
do
stuff.
now?" It's like, yo,
Like,
players
we
are
need to make
different
sure that
nowadays,
God's
bro.
here.
when players
Players are
take
different
that
nowadays.
invitation,
They
Like
try to
Destiny
mimic
players,
everything. Try
we're
to
not punishing them for that.
Yeah,
Run
these
it.
people study these games
Yeah,
now.
and I
That's why
know,
they are able to
when we
make
were
these
talking
builds
about
that
at
are
least
crazy.
the night
Yeah,
games
and then these guys are like,
beforehand,
"Oh, this is too
we
strong.
can
We
go
didn't
into
mean
it
for it to
a
go
little
down
bit
that
more
route,"
detail
and
once
they
we
just
get to the
absolutely-
stuff
you
that
did
might be
it.
coming down the pipe.
You had the game longer than us.
The one thing
Exactly,
I
you
think
made it.
that I
You
wanted to
made
like
this
really
shit.
highlight on was
We didn't come in there
obviously
and
we
press
did this
enter.
patch and we
You
made these
did.
changes and we brought character power down, like player power down, essentially.
And again,
that
we're okay if
in
you want to make
itself
them stronger and
was
us a little
also
weaker, a
supposed to be
little,
paired with
but
these-
don't bring
these,
down our
these
power and our
mechanisms changes
survivability.
that,
Hold on.
where
You
Joe
know?
was actually talking about
Yeah, that's
earlier.
crazy, bro.
And it's something that we've learned throughout this process is, like, as you guys were talking about, that we have ultimate visions for something that is further down the line, and doing that all together
Further
at
down the
once
line.
during those moments, as opposed to doing them over time and whatnot, just leads to a better experience overall. For
Campfire
players, and
is
that's something
dimmed
that we
out.
most definitely
So they
will
turn
be,
the knob down now, so they can
doing
slowly
as we
turn it
build
up
out,
until we
know,
finally
Right.
get to their
updates and
vision.
patches and so forth.
Years
Like,
down
but
the
when we get to
line.
when we get to
Of course, a
like
key
season
component to this is how
21,
we communicate to players.
that's
No,
when they're gonna
and
celebrate.
I will not
Like
be
there
playing.
is,
they're gonna say, "Oh my
we've gotten a lot
God,
of feedback
now
in
I
regards to,
finally
like,
feel
hey,
like
it would have been great
before
if we knew
season
some of these
1,
changes were coming
I
down the
finally
pipe.
feel that way again. After
It's
20
it's a hefty,
seasons."
amount of patch notes. We could have digested
pain,
this
bro,
like
the
over
pain.
a few days beforehand or a week beforehand. So one thing we
Remember
do
the
want to commit to right
days
now is that
with a
we do plan
sorcerer?
on going forward always providing
about that shit
patch
like it was a
notes
myth.
and communicating these patch notes through streams like this, through Campfire chats, or
I wanna know what's
developer update
happening
live
right now.
streams. Beforehand, well beforehand,
Bro,
like at
they
least a
plan
week
in they
before
weekend.
the actual update
That
hits.
shit is over with, bro.
And no matter state, because I know sometimes we're
office
still,
is
like,
closed.
trying to like
These
only
potentially
three
dudes here
squeeze
and
in
the
a
cleaning
few different
crew.
things into patch notes and stuff like that up until like the last second, just on the nature of production
gotta
and how we
refill
are.
I gotta
But
refill my
I will
mini
say we do plan on sharing those no matter what to the community going forward, and from here on out through a
They literally
live
been
stream
feeding us
or,
shit, Nullet, and then they told us,
or
like, eat
written
it.
through
It tastes
blog or
good.
something
Yeah.
like that
Like,
beforehand,
this is what it is.
beforehand,
We're not
before
changing
players
shit.
can
They literally
actually
beat around every
get
possible
into
bush.
the game and actually try it out on their end.
And
So
then
at least
tell
we
us
can
that the
give
reason why
feedback
they
and you
lowered
guys
it
can
down
actually
so far
digest
is
the
because they
information
have future
beforehand.
plans
In
and
fact,
they want to grow with
we do
those
actually
plans.
have, of course, future updates here
yeah.
that we do want to talk about here really quickly.
This-
But one thing that
all in all,
we
they
will
basically
commit to
said
right now
they
is that
flatlined all the
next
characters
Friday,
so that
Oh,
they
hold
so
on,
wait,
exactly
wait, wait.
1
Friday.
week from now, we'll be back on a live
Friday.
stream because we will start
Okay.
with that live stream where we will be talking about our next patch that will be coming to Diablo 4. We'll talk a little bit about some of the details here, but we'll go into more detail next Friday specifically.
So pretty much they're not telling you
but
shit
we will be back on
today.
here to kind of go through
Wait
the
a
whole
week.
entire,
We'll tell you there's a
patch
page.
notes
So they are
with
making some
everyone,
changes. Some
beforehand, so
changes?
everyone
Why'd I
has
say it
a
like
better
that?
expectation
They're making some
of what they're going to be
changes.
seeing in the actual
But
update.
how I feel, bro, I feel like
and
ain't
they
none
can
of the
talk
changes
to
we
us
asked
through
for.
chat, through devs,
This is plan
through
changes.
social media, through Reddit, through our forums, etc. beforehand, before the actual
This
patch
is we're
hits.
driving the car.
We will get times and remind everyone, of course, throughout the week that we will have another Campfire chat to talk about patch 111 since we just shipped 110,
Yeah.
111. But we do want to talk a little bit about patch 111 today, just because there are some items that we are aware of that we know will be of interest to players, specifically when it comes to things that they've been asking for.
Oh, this is what we
and
wanted.
At least it gives you
This is
guys a
what we wanna
little
hear.
bit of an early preview of some stuff that's coming down the road.
They
I
had to
think
give us something.
one big thing that everyone has been kind of talking about as of late from this current patch is like some of the sorcerer and barbarian items and stuff like that, and how we've obviously tuned a lot of classes down, and there's questions of like, hey, is there any changes in the future for those two?
Yeah, we're taking a long look at a lot of the sorceress and barbarian aspects that aren't being utilized very well right now, and trying to lift a lot of those back up. So there's going to be a wide range of legendary power and unique item improvements for these two classes in particular. We're taking a look at a lot of things, but we're really honing in specifically on Sorceress first.
All right.
What about Necros?
Yo, calm down.
This is for 1.1.1.
Correct.
So
Just
the
because
very
you
next
only
patch
want to
cycle.
use
And we
minions.
expect that patch. And obviously, we're having
What
a
about
live stream.
minions?
Y'all have a
So
meta
we
build.
expect that patch
I'm
here in the
rude.
next couple weeks or so. So at least you guys can get an early preview on it.
No,
Yeah.
like, it
On that
basically
Friday,
said
we'll be
some
talking a lot
classes
about,
were
the specifics of all of
overperforming
those
and
changes
producing
and kind of
damage
clear
numbers
what
they
these
didn't
Yep.
expect, so they
And,
flatlined.
in fact,
basically everyone to
the
even
Nightmare
it out.
Dungeon items that we were just talking about
And then
just
progress
now,
it back
that's
through
actually
whatever they add
we're
in the season.
planning
We're all
on
gonna
actually
be ass
rolling
together.
that out in a hotfix.
So you all get to suck
specifically.
together.
And that is something that we actually plan on rolling out later today. So we'll
Wait,
have
what
more
was that?
information on the Nightmare Dungeon changes that will be that we talked about
Friday?
earlier. That
Nightmare
will be
Dungeon,
coming
yeah,
out
something.
later today via hotfix. Another big
Hotfix?
thing that
today?
we've talked about in patch notes because we've toned it down. And now we're kind of, and we had mentioned that to players that we did plan on bringing it back up. It is monster density in Nightmare Dungeons and Helltide. So
Which we already knew that. You
I know
already
that
said
you guys
that.
had some plans. And
I
so
don't
forth
want more
related to
density of
that.
monsters in
Yeah,
the hell
so
tide.
I mean, going back to
hell
the mission
world?
statement I mentioned earlier, a key part of the live game is having high density.
Yeah, no, like
areas
I
for
would wait till
players
like
to move
season
out,
3
right?
and then maybe give it a
And-
shot.
key part.
So
of
they're
the
going to add the high
Keep it,
density.
of
without
which
any
Diablo 4 is
improvements
one.
to
That's
deep-
good.
Pardon my grammar.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we're going to be increasing the density in Nightmare Dungeons substantially.
Substantially.
And we're going to be
Substantially.
increasing the density in Helltide as well. Now,
here
with
for that.
the Nightmare Dungeon changes across the board for Nightmare Dungeons, all Nightmare Dungeons will get more dense.
You
The
just said that
Helltide
already.
change,
Said
there
that.
are certain areas of Helltide that are
Why does he keep
extremely
looking
dense,
at Joe?
like the
Joe, why do you
Target,
keep
for
looking at
example,
Joe?
is very dense.
Joe.
Areas like
I think he's
that
looking at someone over there to the
probably
left
won't
for
get
like.
more dense. And part of,
them to be
part of
like,
what we've been
you-
doing
Say
keep
dense
going.
one more
at the same
time, bro. Say
in terms of
dense.
these density changes is making sure
Density,
that we're
oh
making
my God.
performance improvements, like looking at
Here we go
player
with the
skills
hands.
that are
They
that
better
are,
increase something. They're gonna
taking a lot of
increase
time on the
density.
servers, getting those into a better performance, so players have better frame rates and stuff. And
Yeah,
What
fix
frame
it.
rates and stuff. We
frame
got to fix it
falls
so you
and all
get
these
frame
kinds of
rates
things
and
that make the
stuff.
game
Frame
more fun
rates
to
and
play.
stuff.
And this also helps us
did they
increase
get
the number of
Joe
like,
from?
more
Frame
monsters, more players, more stuff going on.
More stuff
And
going
we know
on.
that the density in Nightmare Dungeons in
The
particular
density.
needs to go up, and so we've been working on that to make sure that
Yeah.
that we can accomplish that. So density in Helltide will go up, not uniformly.
You got that
Density in
right,
Nightmare
Bobby?
Dungeons will go up.
Hey, guys,
uniformly,
density's
and
gonna
there's
go
a
up.
Substantial increase.
Yeah, yeah, the density.
Which I know players are.
And that will fix frame rates and
constantly,
stuff.
Yeah.
that'll fix the frame.
wanting additional density on this.
Right,
specific.
rightly so.
And a big topic right now is inventory concerns. We've heard from players. I know we've talked about gems and so forth actually becoming materials in season 2, which to help out with some inventory concerns specifically. I know you guys
shit, so
have
that's easy.
information
that
at
would
least
be-
in regards to stash.
Why not do
and
that
what might
now?
be
That'd be
coming in
great.
1.1.1.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I hate
So,
those fucking gems.
Bro,
certainly,
the hearts and the gems combined.
the gem,
Oh,
the
fuck.
gem
Fucking
change
bag,
is
bro.
still coming in season 2, like you said, but we need more stash help now,
Yes!
right? And so
Yes!
in 1.1.1, we're going to be adding an additional stash tab for players.
Hey,
That we got
Hey!
paid
More
for?
aspects.
W.
Of
W.
course!
For?
Yeah,
Of course.
This has been like an
Oh my
ongoing
God.
conversation every
I gotta
week
buy it with
inside the
gold,
dev team.
right?
Of like, do we feel that we're
In-game
ready
gold?
to do this yet? Do we feel that we're ready to do this
Oh,
yet? Like the
shit.
density conversation and the
Yeah.
stash tab conversation. Like
He'll be the
the,
only
the
tab that you have
engineering
to
teams
use
are working
platinum
really,
for.
really hard to like make these adjustments possible for us. Like there's more that we're doing. This is
Yo,
this
if
is
you're
brand
gonna,
new,
if
we're
you're
learning.
gonna
Yo,
have
you
more
ain't shit for
materials
that.
in
What else
the
can
They're like,
we
now
do?
we're giving them
We're
platinum
trying
through
to
the
improve
through
these
the
things, but, like, we
battle
definitely
pass. Let's
heard these
charge that.
concerns.
Let's charge
We're
that.
happy
No,
to
you have
bring
to
them
add
in
that
as
to
early as
battle
1.1.
pass.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should mention that along with the stash tab, we're making a small change to elixir stack size. We're going to bring that up to
Okay.
99.
yeah, think?
So that'll help a little bit.
99.
That'll help a little bit.
Obviously, like with new starts to
I don't
seasons, and
think I got
if we do
past a
have
10
these types
stack,
of,
but okay.
Yeah,
let's
yeah, I
continue.
think, yeah, I think most of I got
Raise
like
it up to
6 or 8.
99.
whether it's the meta or the balance of specific things. There's been questions
Giving you guys
related
bigger
to,
numbers. Yay.
respecs and how that has been pretty expensive on.
Can I have a save
people's,
tab?
Their own
Say
personal
it.
Yeah, can I-
economies
yeah,
with-
can I
with
save
gold
some
and
shit?
so forth. I know we have respec changes that are also coming with the game itself. And you
Loadouts.
guys probably know
Yeah.
more specifics on the
With the
numbers.
game itself.
Yeah, I mean, this really goes back. Joe was talking about our
Tell me.
commitment to choice earlier, and it also but I think
Commitment
it also
to
goes
choice.
back to
Oh
we say
my
in the mission
God.
statement we want to have a wide variety of viable
PR
That's
builds.
ass.
department.
That's an ass.
Great, but if you
That's
can't
an
switch
Our
ass.
between
commitment
builds,
to choice.
Commitment to choice. I want a save tab,
it's-
bro.
it-
Let
it
me.
still
Anytime
feels
I made an
punishing,
argument
right?
with somebody, I'm
So
going
we're
to tell
going to
them,
bring
hey,
respec costs
this is
down
my commitment to choice.
quite by about 40%, quite a bit.
Okay,
Yeah,
respect.
so it should help out with people that
Cost is gonna go down
wanna
about
switch over to a
40%.
different build
That's-
and so
that's not
forth,
Oh, we
or,
just lost Trav.
They do
Trav
have
got
to
bumped.
adjust over to
Yeah. Kick.
do so, or have an easier
That
option
happens
of being
from
able
time
to
to
do so.
time.
Yeah.
And that'll be in one
We're good.
And that'll be in 1.1.1 as well. So
Okay.
and then I
Resources
know,
will go down.
lastly,
Cheaper.
like,
I
one
want
big
a way
thing
to
is,
save
you
it and
know,
remove
as
a
players
whole
kind of
thing at one
progress through
time.
the game, and the leveling curve kind of goes through, especially like post like 70 or so. We've been looking at the player journey and how they've been getting up to 100. I know there's some changes that
You
guys
live
are
in the
looking at
nightmare
in terms
dungeon,
of, like,
okay?
experience
You
and so
live
forth
there.
from that end.
Yeah, I mean, the short version is we want to make leveling
us the
from
long
50 to
version.
100 faster
The fuck?
by adjusting XP. I don't know if you have.
Yeah,
more
I
info.
realized.
Joe P.
I was realizing when I was talking earlier
Joe
about
Pa.
the change we made. Obviously, we also made the change to XP gain when fighting
Joe
creatures above your level. I failed to mention this discussing it.
Yeah.
So the original intent for that was we found players basically sitting at like fighting creatures like 3 levels above them and never felt like they were really challenging themselves beyond that. We wanted to stretch that out a bit further.
What's the name of
that
this
went
game,
from, a
Vegan?
25%
I wanna
bonus
look
to a
into it.
15% bonus.
Yeah, what we talking?
And
What's
we
Vegan
knew
talking
the
about?
density changes were coming
Apparently
online. so we thought
PS5
about
Pro
this a little bit,
information came
but,
out today.
Yeah, I saw that on
I
Twitter.
read a lot of feedback.
Trav, you get
afterwards
beat
in
up by
particular that
someone.
just made it sound like people thought we were just trying to make the game take longer, which wasn't actually
Trav.
the goal. But we realized
Wow.
it did constitute a nerf result. That is the thing that we're thinking about as well.
We are not trying to slow down the game.
No, and to that point, like we
yeah.
we had a vision for how long we want the game to take for players. We realized that it's taking a little bit
I was
longer
trying to hide
than,
my
than
eyes.
what our vision was originally for a lot of folks that are leveling up, particularly when they get to certain
so
parts of the
funny.
game, like when they're World Tier 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So we are looking to like really to readjust the XP rates for those areas, because we aren't looking to like have you hit this absolute brick wall when you hit like level 70 or something, right? Like there's
So
not
the
like these moments where you
nightmare
run into it like you
dungeon,
just
they're
can't. Or
give
75.
more
Like, we don't want you to
experience.
have this feeling that you just can't make
something
meaningful
like that.
progress, that we're just artificially holding you back. That's never been the vision or the goal.
Or just
Right?
areas
Just-
on the
it ended
map.
up working out that just, it wasn't
Question mark?
the players weren't as earning XP at the rate that we had originally expected.
All right, I got
That's
the
what it
link
came down
to go over the
So
PS5
these are,
info.
like, we are making changes in this regard
Yeah.
to kind of bring
You
this
got it?
down
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah.
And I mean, you've seen certainly
don't think this is
we
gonna be
did
going on
things
much
like
longer.
increase the XP bonus for
Better
Nightmare
not.
Dungeons a while
Yeah.
back quite substantially.
Yeah.
Because I gotta get back into Diablo.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, notwithstanding that, there are changes to XP related
Gotta get back
to
in them streets.
addressing,
Brano
the
is
power
waiting.
leveling case, because we don't have like group up, have fun with your friends, like power leveling each other. The only
You killed
case
power
that we
leveling. What are you talking
think
about?
is not very fun is the case where one person is standing at the entrance to the dungeon and
That
the
is
other
fun.
person is having all the fun killing
Fantastic,
monsters.
actually.
And so, when we look at the
So instead,
balance of the XP changes in 1.1.0, we think
Mm-hmm.
that additional changes need to be made to make the game faster, especially
Yeah,
between
we,
50 and 100.
yeah, we want
Exactly
level
what you
1 to
said.
100 to feel like an achievement, but not like a job.
Yeah.
Right.
So they
like,
said
we wanna
they
make some
slowed it
adjustments
down
to make
too
sure it feels
much. Now
fun.
we need to speed it back up a
very
little bit.
achievable, obviously.
Gotcha. Check.
On a timeline.
Okay.
But yeah, so we are going to make some adjustments. We talked
But yeah,
about, I think
we're
we'll
doing
talk about
shit.
more probably next week.
Yeah.
In terms of with more
We'll get on
specifics.
that.
Yep.
Very
Yeah, so
Cool
again,
story, bro.
We'll be back on stream next Friday to talk about all the details of the changes, including the barb and like sorcerer changes.
Yeah.
that,
They got away with
Joe
this.
had mentioned, along with other changes.
So they're
that we-
changing that by next
we
Friday, or
are
they're just announcing
preparing right
their
now for the
changes?
patch itself.
They're
That
announcing
patch itself is
that
supposed to
they're
be,
gonna tell
beginning
us
in
what
the
the
next couple
updates
weeks.
are gonna be.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we're doing the
Hold
stream
hold
on Friday.
You just said
you know,
patch
it's
is coming
pretty-
within the next
pretty-
couple
pretty
weeks.
darn soon for after that stream. So, but
Yes,
we did want
this
to
will be
make
after
sure that
next
we got
week.
in front of players to actually talk to them about everything. And we plan on doing that going forward if we ever have one of these larger patches that actually make some pretty significant changes within the game. We'll either get in front of you guys via stream or we'll
Are y'all gonna talk about the
them
silent
earlier so
nerfs
that you
y'all
guys get a
did?
better idea
Huh?
of
Nah,
what's
they're
Nope.
not gonna mention the silent
Joe in the middle
nerfs.
said, "Fuck
I know that
that."
we do want to take some questions, a bunch of questions actually,
Oh!
from
Uh-oh.
chat and so forth.
Okay.
I know one big question.
These
that
are gonna
has
be the
always
easy
kinda come up
questions.
has
The
been
easiest
about,
ones.
Yeah, they definitely siphon through these.
leaderboards
Yeah, this has
and
been
so forth
filtered.
within, and
The
the
most- This is
expectation
people that
of
work
when those might be
downstairs.
coming
The
in.
most non
Nobody gives a shit
Really,
about
we're
leaderboards. Of course, they
aiming
would pick that
for
one.
season 3 for
Who gives a shit about
in
leaderboards?
itself.
Ooh,
I don't know if you guys have any,
leaderboards.
like, additional
Don't,
information
Trav.
or,
That's
like,
not what we want right
additional
now.
insight
Those
into
aren't the
those,
answers we want right now.
Yeah, so one thing that's really important to us for leaderboards in Diablo 4 is that we don't think that like tying this directly to Nightmare Dungeons or content type exactly like that is going to make a lot of sense because the variety of the nature of the
So
system.
what is it? Just like the first person
So we want to make
tier
we
100?
want to make a content
It's a
type that kind
leaderboard
of partners
type
directly
deal?
with leaderboards, so that you can be judged in kind of like this
Or
kind of
power
more even
level
playing
Makes the
field
most
when you're
damage.
going through that experience. But that is
Who kills
content that we are actively
something
in
faster?
development on and are excited to try to get ready for season 3. So we're going to be making
Bro.
I'm sorry. The short answer to this is
Dude on the
yeah.
right
so
don't really give a
Set up our
fuck.
competitive
for real. He's
feature.
like,
We are
I'm ready
making a
to go.
specific content type that goes alongside that you're judging yourself against.
He's
And
not
we're
even
looking
sitting
for
up
season 3
straight
for that.
Question
anymore.
No.
from
He's hard
you
leaning.
stupid walrus.
It's off the screen.
Stupid
is,
walrus.
Uber
Stupid
Unix,
walrus.
What's the future? They mathematically
Oh,
don't
shit, he
exist, so I
can't
don't
say
think
the
it's a
word.
good waste of resources of them anymore.
Sorry,
What?
I was really distracted by the walrus.
Okay.
Can you read the question again?
Uber
He
Unix,
don't give a
what's the
shit.
future?
Joe don't give a
They
shit.
mathematically don't exist, so I don't think it's
True.
good to waste resources on them in the future.
Give us
That's
a
good
chance to
question.
get
so,
it, dude.
Uber Uniques are designed such a way that they are a huge spike of power, and we're receiving feedback, and we understand
But
the
they
feedback.
don't
on some of them,
exist.
but they represent a
don't
huge spike
exist,
of power,
bro. These are
and as
myths.
such are not expected to be
myth.
part of builds necessarily. One of our goals underlying is we don't want
So they're not
players
supposed to be
feel
part
that,
of builds?
that one of these are
They are if you
mandatory that you
find
must
it.
find in an effort to bring your build online. From the ground up, we kind of made the decision to say it is okay if
Yeah,
we
no,
want
like,
players to
report
find
back.
these,
I
but we
gotta
don't want
hear
them
what
to
they're actually
expect to
saying.
find these. Which is a difficult place to balance in terms of drop rates. when
Joe
you
mad
think
as a
about
bitch
these.
right now. He's
Now,
like,
right
why
now,
you
it means that
asking me this
they
question?
are exceedingly rare, and we do want them to feel very, very rare. But I
We want them
suspect
to
that
feel
as
that
we
way,
start moving into
'cause that's what they
future
are.
seasons,
Just
we do
stop
wanna
dropping
find
me
more
celebrities.
ways
Well,
for
now I
players
need them
more
fuckers.
opportunities for players to
I
get,
had 7
chances of
celebrities with my
these.
sorcerer.
And I imagine we'll talk about that soon. But I would suggest that like the current drop rates are probably
No,
not
say he's
going
gonna
to
go
be,
log into that
the
live
drop
chat.
rates
I wanna
for
see the
everyone. I think
questions
there's a
chats are
little bit more
really
common,
asking.
a little more
Yeah,
I
likely
can
yeah,
pull it up.
as time goes on.
I
can lower it, we can see
A
it.
big topic that I'm seeing just pop up in chat and so forth. A lot of
Where's the
comments
chat?
about,
Chat
cloud
is
gaming,
disabled for this live
your
stream.
Oh my
uh,
god!
Yeah.
So where they
or,
So where they get these questions?
addressing
Where are these questions? They knew they were gonna get rocked in the chat.
As I mentioned earlier in the stream, we
Unbelievable.
talked about it.
I told you nobody cares about
we think
leaderboards.
that,
What fucking kind of
when you
question
have,
is that?
Oh
high
my
density of
God.
monsters
Oh
on stream,
my
and you
god.
have a lot of
Chat
hits,
doesn't even
That's
exist.
the question.
crowd
That's the
control,
questions they
the
workshop
tools
in
that
the
you have
conference
for
room,
crowd
bro.
control
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god!
are not.
Everybody has a
need to be better,
cell phone,
basically.
right? Diablo
And,
Immortals.
some of that is going to be
Cousin.
adjustments to things that feel unfair,
Wow.
and some of that is going to be
We should do a
adjustments in
quick
terms of
Q&A,
tools.
guys. Make it seem
I
like
think
we're
that
like
we'll be able
really.
to
What
space,
questions?
this is something
Let's
that,
throw one out there that's
we'll
just
be
like
able to speak
random.
more
you
to.
know.
in terms of
Leaderboards. Yeah, ask for
specifics and how-
leaderboards. Yeah.
how,
What
we
next?
can address that.
Get a question from the
we
Uber
create
driver that drops off the lunch today.
Um,
Get a question from the
What about
maintenance
the
guy
question
that
from
works upstairs.
the Uber legends or whatever? You know,
New question,
Just
new
say
question.
some bullshit on that.
IK Reccoat. I tried. I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry.
Recto
When
what?
will loadouts be added?
Oh, here we go.
Hey!
Okay, this is
Here we
some
go.
big.
Yeah,
This is
it's a
something
feature that
big.
the UI team is very excited about, and something we've talked about a bit internally.
excited
We
too.
don't have a timeline for the idea of loadouts.
At least
just
season
yet,
4.
but it is
Season
something
4,
that we are
5.
continuing to actively talk about.
Yeah.
When we have more
Uh,
Actively
information, to share,
talk
we'll
actively
about
talking
at the
about
this might
coffee
just potentially
machine.
be added to Diablo 4.
That's
I'm sure
where
we'll
this
talk
is
about it.
laying right now. There's no meetings about this. We're just talking
Barago,
about it.
Barag0, says, What is the time frame on 111? It doesn't seem very clear. Is it before the middle of the season? How long do I need to wait for Sorcerer and Barbs to have their changes and be playable? It is
Be
much
playable.
sooner than mid-season. As I said,
Hey.
it's only like a couple weeks
spicy.
away, and by a couple weeks, I mean like very, very soon. Like if we're doing a stream on Friday, I would expect it within a couple days after the stream.
We have to provide
Whoa, he put a
some.
day on it. Oh,
If we say anything too specific today,
Said a couple
production
Exactly,
days
Pop.
after Friday.
will choke us
Yes.
out.
You
So we
heard
have to be
that.
very careful about
Look,
the
look, look,
language
look.
we
If we
use.
say
Very
a
soon.
day today,
Only because
production
with
will
patches
fuck
themselves,
itself.
of course, you know,
We
there
won't make the
are.
date.
Of course.
We're on
Yeah.
a lot of different platforms and everything.
did-
and
we
of
just
course
saw
those
they
go through
disabled live
certification,
chat. Now look.
certification
Yeah,
takes
we just
longer
looked. Now look,
than we
he just
honestly
found
need
out.
to-
Yeah, we-
just
I
schedule,
look,
so it's
yeah,
hard for
I-
us to actually put a
I,
specific time on to, until that actually occurs. But very, very soon.
Yeah, I don't trust live streams where their comments are
BoldB79,
disabled.
are there any
or
plans
Instagram
I'll be right back,
for some
where their-
changes
where their,
for
what's
experience
names are
between,
disabled.
say, level 75 to 100? This is actually something that we just commented on, but the journey feels a bit dull. There are several events, but only nightmare dungeons to provide challenge. World bosses, Helltides, and Whispers are a good idea, but just too easy.
Yeah, there's.
don't
So
give
we
you
talked
shit.
about. So I guess there's two real parts to this. Like are we making changes to the XP progression for players while they're moving through? Like
Yes,
World
you already
Tier
said
4
that.
in this case, and the answer is yes. We are going to be looking at making changes to that, and we'll talk more about that soon.
Just
And then
Get better
secondly,
loot.
Do we feel that there are the right number of like milestones for players to engage with? Enough goals to kind of like consume while you're also just leveling up, and enough content to kind of do as you're leveling up in these world tiers. And I think that the answer is no. That we know that there's more things that we need to add
Quantum
to
Error
the
does?
game, particularly for World Tier 4.
Is that the game you were talking
but
about?
really, just
League?
once you get into World Tier
Quantum
3 and
Error?
4, just want to find more opportunities and more content
Yeah, I saw-
and
said
new
Christian-
things for players to do as they're leveling up.
Yeah, I
through
saw
these
that on
spaces.
Twitter. I didn't know if that
We
was
do
real
have
or
plans
not.
for those things, and we do have thoughts on stuff we want to
When I was
add
looking- when I
in
was-
season 2 in particular,
I
and
was
some
looking
things
up
we're looking
the,
to continue to talk about moving forward.
Yeah,
But yeah, we recognize that there's more. We would like to add
like,
to
bro,
that
did
journey
somebody
and
hack
create more
their Twitter
variety
account? 'Cause they talking
and more moments of challenge as well while you're progressing, and not just at 100, but all along the way.
What did Xbox do to them?
Podoc24 says, what are your plans to adjust loot drops? This I'm going to add on to his question after I read it. It feels very frustrating to grind for days without ever seeing anything close to an upgrade or finding the right aspect. Even worse,
That was
when you finally do it,
the
and
most
it's a terrible roll.
frustrating thing.
Slightly,
For like
I'm also
15
gonna
levels
modify
straight,
that
I didn't
and
find
mention,
anything that was better.
Target farming, which has also been a topic within the community.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
want
sure if you
target
guys wanna,
farming.
have
Yes.
any plans?
At least at a small scale. Like don't.
So I think
don't
there's a
be
couple
crazy.
parts to this as well. Like there's the idea of I grind for a long time to get an item, and the item is not an upgrade. And particularly when you're in World Tiers 3 and 4, when you start dealing with sacred items and ancestral items, when you're kind of dealing
Signed
with
Blizzard.
this larger bucket of eye power range, this can certainly tend to reach through. Unless you're looking for specific kinds of affixes, you're looking for particular kinds of roles, right?
see you in October.
So there's a couple things. One, we know we want to try to reduce the difficulty of like kind of comparing and looking at a number of different items all at once and trying to get a better sense of that. These are things the UI team is very passionate about, and conversations are
The
ongoing to
UI
how we
team.
want to achieve that.
They're
Like things
hard
like
at work.
filters, object, things like that.
No time frame.
There's the idea of like how does the progression of itemization feel, particularly in World Tier 4, while you're leveling up there. And
Like they have
the
a
systems
meeting,
team
all right,
has
guys.
ideas on things they would like to include.
Loadouts.
It's too early for
Well,
us to say exactly.
we talked about it.
Lay them
Next.
all out just now. But there are ideas.
can
of
say
things
we
like these
talked
kind of
about it.
feeling of progression to the ancestral tier, so that you feel like there's more.
Well,
thresholds and there's
sounds
more
it's a good
options to
idea, but
get upgrades
you know,
as you go.
we'll get to that eventually.
And then lastly, there's the idea of target farming. So legendary aspects are a place I think that we can afford to do more. We know that players are looking for certain aspects. They're trying to find certain things. They're trying to find particularly unique items. I think is often the case, right? They want their Tempest Roar, whatever it is they're looking.
You know
for,
how many
they're looking for
wolves
that thing.
and trees
we
and
do
spiders
have
I
plans
killed and did
in
not get
season
one
2 right now to
fucking
have more content you
unique?
can try to target farm in order to find certain unique items. And I think there's a natural extension of that to figure out like what's the right way for players to be able to find an easier method of getting into some of
damn,
the
Malik.
aspects they might be looking for as they're progressing through. So that
Malik
is
knows about the
that is
Joes.
something that the rewards and systems teams will be thinking about and hopefully be able to talk about soon on stream.
Yeah, and I do want to note, like, I know we have an update here coming
note a
for
lot.
111, which we just talked about is in the next couple of weeks. There are going to be other patches before season 2 and so forth,
Yes.
with additional
Yes.
Changes and items that we just haven't noted. And I
can
just want to
guarantee you
clarify
guys patches.
specifically on
That's
that.
what we can
We
give you
do
guys
have
today.
more patches beyond 1.1.1 before season 2 to address a lot of feedback that we're receiving from players and a lot of opportunities for us to actually do so. Can we get some sort of matchmaking system to help with partying up with random people or group finders? I know we had talked about group finders before.
That wouldn't be a bad
I
idea.
know
Nolik asked. I
this
think
is
Nolik
something
asked about that.
the
If you
team,
can, if
has
you're wanting to
obviously
do
received feedback about,
stuff with a group of people
helping
no
out with,
one's on
the social systems and so forth
to
within the game.
matchmake.
It is being evaluated, I know.
It's in the plans.
teams
They're
are
talking
looking
about
It's
at
been
just to have an
evaluating.
exact timeline of when
They didn't even talk about that.
That's
shit
even
yet.
worse than it's. It's even worse.
That
Are
shit
there
on
going
a
to be
napkin
changes with
somewhere.
arm? Oh, sorry, I forgot that was Andy from Man was the last question.
Not even a
Bean
post-it
Top
note.
10
That shit's on a
says,
napkin.
Hey, Lawrence,
are there going to
we
be
can't hear you.
changes with
You're
armor
talking.
regarding survivability?
I've
Hardcore is
been muted.
almost
I'm
unplayable
so
on
sad.
Sorcerer
so
with
sad.
one shots from corpse bows and low innate due to low innate armor.
Yeah, I think survivability, especially on Sorcerer, is something that
Yes.
the changes that Joe was talking about for
The glass cannon.
Joe's
that we'll be
talking
talking
about
about in more detail
In-
next
in
week
1.1.1.
is one
So
of
they're-
the things
so
we
they're
want
talking.
to include in that.
They're talking.
Joe's talking.
Joe's
Joe-
gonna talk more about it next Friday. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
know,
also identified as
Talking
a
to
If
Joe.
Joe's
there are a
talking
few
about it, it's
outstanding
serious.
monster
Okay,
types
he's
and
the
abilities they're doing
associate.
that are killing players a little more frequently than we expect. And like we're looking at like
It's
creatures
funny
that
because
went
that's
that,
Big Joe in the middle. That's
explode when
what
you die,
I'm
for
showing to
example.
the left.
Claim an awful lot of lives. Right?
looking at
creatures that can
matchmaking
chill.
been in
you know,
games since
claim an awful lot of lives,
2010.
Or
Y'all just
charging
not looking
creatures,
into
we've
it.
also learned.
And charging
creatures.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of reports about that, and I know.
which I think have been nerfed like twice now. too,
Well,
from
there
what
was there's a bug fix
They forgot about it, bro. I
on,
guess
on
they
beast
just
charge
jumped over that one.
where beast charge could deal damage
Wow.
even if you interrupted the charge or the beast died.
Oh, I see. So, well, that's a good bug fix. So, I mean, we're identifying
one.
some of these like really difficult affixes, really difficult Nightmare Dungeon affixes, or like really ones that claim lots, like a disproportionate amount of player lives as part of that. And we're looking at those all at once. It's Sorcerer survivability is absolutely an issue, and we're going to be talking about it more in the 1.1.1 conversation next week.
Shade.
But there's also this idea of like there's a lot of things
Backstabber.
out there that are just doing a lot of like what feels to the player in the moment pretty cheap, like unfair, like just I sort of just died, don't really see what happened. And we're
Oh, no
looking at more
way.
of these situations
yeah.
and trying to figure out the right places to make adjustments.
Maybe you should nerf the damn
We don't want the
shadow
game to be
shit
easy.
that Grace
we don't want the
cloud
we don't want
crap
to be able to walk
or
over
anything
the counter,
that
and we
blows
want
up
the game to feel
instantly.
deadly at times.
Nerf
We want you
that
to feel like you
shit.
had an opportunity to kind of evade or deal
Every
with
time you
situations.
kill somebody, an
In
explosion
regards to
happens.
someone, Zeus
Yeah.
DNA says we'll be seeing
Or the
hotfix
stupid
notes
elites
before
that do the
hotfix comes
fire-
out today.
No,
Yeah, we'll
and
get
then
the
they
notes
explode.
up.
Bro, that
The
one shots
deployment hasn't
everything.
started, and it's
That
not
one
starting
shots
until
everyone.
later this
The
afternoon.
fire-empowered
We'll get the notes up
elites.
so that players
They're
can see them.
broken.
We'll be
Jesus.
mentioning it.
That's
so
what you
that,
should be
Players
nerfing.
can actually read through them and so forth.
Right.
This is a pretty large hotfix in terms of like items that
pretty
we're actually
large.
fixing and the nightmare.
I mean, it's
Dungeon
bigger
stuff
than
that we
the one
had.
from
It's gonna be large. It's gonna be large, guys.
Templar Knights asks, question, can we change the codex in such a way that we can upgrade the values with founded legendary items? This could reduce the demand to stash, avoid aspects laying around,
That sound
easier
like
adopting.
Kevin
player
that
tier
works on the
balance
second
changes, but we
floor.
still want to
He's a
find
fucking
items that
dev.
increase
He's
the
been trying to get
balance.
this in the game for
Yeah,
months.
so we know that
Know that
one of the
If
key
it makes
things
sense,
that
then it
players
doesn't make
are
sense to us. That sounds like fucking. That sounds like
carrying in their stash right now
That
are
sounds like-
lots and lots of
Go to the
aspects.
third floor to hit Kevin.
And
that sounds like
We're
someone else
talking
from
about
work, but I don't know
ways
if I want to say his
address
name.
That's an interesting suggestion. That I think it's.
I
sort of
hear what
going
you're
toward the
saying,
same
but I don't
direction
understand
here,
what
which is
you
like,
are saying.
How can we address
But I'm not hearing it.
the case where your stash is completely full of aspects?
Yeah,
Certainly having an extra stash tab
now we
I
went back
think
to
will
stash.
not
Oh
hurt
my
that
God.
problem, but I think there's
I
more.
think they
that
need
we'd
to
like
just
do.
rework
They
that
fixed the
glass
problem
cannon
with stash, baby.
for the
Yeah,
sorcerers.
it's certainly something
I
we've
just don't
been
understand
discussing
that why
internally for a
an
while.
imprint is only
I think
a
part of this is
one-time
just the,
deal. Like you should
you know, how
just
much
be able
fun
to
is it to be able to
transfer and
extract
pay
an
for
aspect
it
from an
to
item
go
and
to
be able
the
to
next
maintain that
fucking
role?
item you
Because
want.
they
How
want you
much
to grind
is
for
that
it
fun
again.
so fun that it's
Yeah.
worth like some of the inventory pressure
Why?
that comes about as
For
a result
who?
of that?
Why?
That's a conversation
I'm
we've
the
had
best
with the
one.
dev team.
I don't wanna
We
find
know
it.
you
You
can
have
talk about it, but we know
Pikachu.
that there's
but we want you to go.
There's definitely a lot of
continue
improvements
again.
we can make.
Well, you notice
to
with
the
the
Codex
blood
of Power,
hearts,
for example,
you
to
can
kind of, like,
you don't
be
have to go to a
embracing,
jeweler or nothing. You
some of
just
these
can
other like affix
put a new
extractions
one in
as
the slot, but then you lose the one that was in
Question
there.
from
Yeah,
DRJ16.
the hearts-
Oh, so the hearts are
Has it been considered how
one-time deal
certain
too?
Nerfs like
Yes,
weapon
sir.
cooldown reduction are so much more
No,
impactful for
man,
certain classes.
no.
than others.
Non-transferable.
Yes, the team is definitely aware that some of these
All right,
some
bro.
of these changes
I've already
disproportionately
found
affect
the
like
black
vulnerable
heart
damage
that's
change
super
disproportionately
dumb
affecting
strong, like 3
like
different
cold swords.
times, and I've
Yeah,
put it
there is
on
a
and
we're
had to get
definitely
rid
aware
of it
that some
3
of these
different
changes
times.
disproportionately
Yeah.
affect some classes and builds more than others.
It's the way they
If-
build
If
it.
I
this goes
find
back to
another
an
one, I'm
earlier
not putting
point
it in
about
anything
when we're
until
going to be
later.
making
Just leave
changes
it.
like
Just leave
this
it in your
moving
inventory.
forward,
Put the
Leave it
red
to
that we
you
know
guys.
we're going to have
ones
this
on right now
have
and
an
save the
overall
black ones to
effect of
your,
reducing certain
plus
effects down,
50
or
at
rather
least.
reducing certain like powers or affixes or whatever it is
They're not
Where is
needed
down to a
getting
place
these
where
anyway.
we
questions
want
from
people to
if
use the
the chat's
baseline
disabled?
to kind of build from for other parts of the game.
The fuck?
That when we do those things, it's going to affect these different players in different ways, and they're not going to enjoy that if we accidentally not accidentally if we've ruined their build in order to try to weed the garden and get things into a better place.
Oh,
like
now we're doing
ultimately,
weeding the garden.
we're going to be trying to do a lot more situations where if we're going to take a thing away, if we're going to update something where it's no longer going to be as valuable as part of your build, we want to provide a lot of other options as part of that. And make sure we don't
but you
leave the
did it.
build with a gaping like giant hole in it
So what's my
as a
option?
result of the
There
change
is a
that we
giant
made.
hole.
So
You
this,
took away
this
without
is going
giving a
to,
shit.
Again, it's going to mean that moving forward when we're
broke us
making
out- you broke our hearts,
like
Joe.
larger scale balance and tuning adjustments, we're going to do those a little bit more slowly as a result, in order to make sure that we're embracing all of these other like components to give a lot of options all at once when we make a change.
Yeah, it goes back to the change we had on the screen before, right? We're going to provide compelling alternatives
Yeah.
when we make those kinds of changes.
That's a punchy way to say it.
Punchy way. Kennywa says, question, why did you guys increase the cast time on stuff like leaving dungeons? Feels like you're trying to slow down the game by making us waste time for something that might feel useless.
32,000 people are watching
we
that
can
live.
look
Only
at that.
1,900 people liked it.
We'll continue to evaluate that.
Twitter's
going to
destroy them after this. Oh, 100%.
Small difference.
Yeah,
I know
Twitter's
that
throwing
in
a big party.
Yeah.
ARPG, small amounts of time can be meaningful. We did add the reset dungeon button back in. It does require that you're outside the dungeon, and so there's kind of a loop there.
There's a loop there.
Loki5123 asks, are you going to add more than 6 or 7 items this season? Are there plans to add more? The feeling is they feel like they would want more items per season.
We want more shit.
Yeah, we've always
Joe?
said we wanted to take in the feedback from the players as we kind of got these seasons out the door. So season 1, we had the 32 Malignant Hearts, which I think have been pretty cool. Some we're going to be looking at the balance, some of them to kind of like lift them up, make them a little more exciting in some places. But broadly, we're pretty happy. They generally are. And
'Cause you haven't
then we have
seen meta builds with them
our
yet.
uniques and our legendary items that we had with
The second people
well.
start doing nut
I think
shit
if there
with something,
is, if we see that
they're gonna,
there's
oh, we gotta
over,
change
like,
that one.
a lot of
Yeah.
like a lot of interest in trying to get more.
Hey, Kyle,
trying to think
Kyle,
about
remember that
how
heart
we
you
can inject
made?
a few more
Yeah, I told you it
legendaries
wasn't gonna
into the
work.
game with each season.
Told you it wasn't
It's
gonna
too
work.
powerful. We gotta
each
turn
season,
it
but we want to
back.
continue to see like kind of what the feedback looks like. This is a good example of.
Told you it was too
Oh
much.
my
Good to know.
I told you that shit wasn't
like,
gonna
Are you
be-
guys looking at potentially
Damn millennials.
like reworking
Yeah,
or redoing
thank you.
some
Dev.
things?
So that means patch 1.1.1 is kind of in that vein of trying to like get these things into a slightly better place. And we do
1.1.1.
want to go back over our existing legendary power library and identify the ones where they
Oh,
can
you guys
afford to
have
be
a
lifted up
library
with
of power.
redesigns and changing the way that some parts of them work. So they better fulfill the stated
That's what they
purpose.
throw the
and
trash.
where they're supposed to sit in place. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for that along the way as well. It's not going to be the only way we inject like new fun in the game isn't going to just be through the season mechanic. Isn't just going to be through the addition of brand new legendaries and uniques, but also going back over the existing legendary powers after we see players use them a little bit more, making adjustments accordingly.
Question from Panda Mousy and Mormra. Same question actually. What's your plan for resistances?
We're doing
Right
over
now,
this.
they
They
feel
ain't
like
touching
a
it
waste
till
Put that in
season 2.
1.1
Do we
instead of
have
season
any
2. How about
changes to
that?
the resistances that
Yeah.
might be changing maybe sooner or later, or how's that going to work?
Do that shit now.
Resistances fall in one of those categories where if we need to make a change to the way that resistance damage is, or rather, the way that players use resistance to mitigate damage from certain
Yeah,
sources.
well,
And
Oh, right
it's going
now
to be a
it's like
Fortnite
Fortnite,
that shit.
change when we actually go through and make
Everything
this,
season
which means
this,
we want to be able
season
to
that.
take time with it and do it properly. It's
I
gonna
mean,
be-
that
right now we
that,
plan to
that
put into
completely
season
changed
2
Destiny.
as part of a larger
supposed to
rework.
be
So you can look forward to more information as we
3
get a little bit
games.
closer to season 2.
and after season,
Shadow
after the
Mom,
second game, they're just like,
Shadow
let's just
Shadow
keep
Mom,
throwing out
sorry.
seasons.
Can
Game news,
campaign bosses be
season 2.
added to the pool of dungeon bosses that we encounter? I feel like campaign bosses are underutilized.
I think I think there could be more opportunities to fight some of those campaign bosses in the future.
They're talking about it.
I
Yeah,
can't
they're
comment
supposed to have
further
like
on
an Uber
exactly
boss every 20 levels
what that-
now or something.
how that will look, but I agree with that.
Coming
so.
out soon, whatever.
Okay.
I heard that.
Joe has,
rumor.
Joe has often said this, so like we definitely want to make sure we find the right ways to bring act bosses in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There needs to be different level
This is
100s.
actually
There
a
needs to be
question. Party
multiple
Cannon 30. Hi there, guys.
Uber
Can you?
per 20, I think.
Thanks for the information. My question is about
Personally.
crashes on PlayStation 5. Is that a known issue? We are aware of some issues on consoles, specifically Xbox, PlayStation, like that may be having crash issues. And
Oh, yeah,
whatnot from
mine
their side.
crashed 2
I do
times.
want to note, like
2 or 3
I know
times
with
since it's come out.
1.10
Today?
there was
You crashed that
a
There's
bug fix
some
towards
messing
a
things
specific
there, and
memory leak that the
you're
team is
100%
trying to
correct. I
identify
mean,
and
there was no
find,
reason
and
to
actually
do
did find it, and it was
what they did
addressed
in the
there.
first place.
There was actually an
Yep.
additional
They
fix
said it was
in
a flat
1.11
reset,
because
just
I've
then
seen a
now
lot of
start
questions
doing
whether
all
on
these
Reddit and
fixes
so
they've been
forth
talking about this whole time.
PC performance and so forth, and even
They
on,
weren't
like,
expecting
just
us to
performance
get
in
up to
general
there
that,
so
will
fast.
be
They messed
addressed
up their
there.
original
So
game.
they
That's
dropped us
what
down
happened.
because they
the
have
team,
a
the
future
engineers
plan and they
here
want
are
to tweak us
still
up to the
actively,
future plan. They want us to
troubleshooting
feel
and
the
figuring out like specific situations
I
that
don't
players
know.
might be.
It's like they want us to
running
feel
into.
the debut
Of course, if you have like
game
more
in
information on
season
those,
5.
please post in console bugs
Yeah.
on our forums.
Yeah.
And give as much information as possible because
I
a
wish
lot
you
of
would've
those
said,
repro steps on our
post it in the
side
comments,
sometimes really
like, what
difficult
comments,
and it
bro?
helps our teams
Yeah.
out, helps our
Story.
QA teams out.
They
Don't
did
even
say
be able to see if
next
they
week
can
they're
actually
talking
repro the same
about
type of issues
finally
that
helping
we've
the Barb and Sorcerer
Barb
with
and Sorcerer
So you
game.
guys plan
Specifically
on
Sorcerer with
introducing more ways. Oh,
stuff.
sorry, this is Mr.
right.
I don't want to butcher that.
Okay.
Do you guys plan on introducing more craft / modify gear? Currently, only gold has value.
We're at an hour. How much more do you want to
And
listen to
only
Q
one
and
stack
A?
can be rolled.
I
More
think Q
ways
and A
to
is where
craft
they
and
end
modify
at.
gear.
We get it.
Yes.
What is
yes,
what
we
is
do want to
the-
add more
the
to
PS5
more options for
notes,
players to kind
the
of modify the items
wanna
they're
watch
they're
that?
getting.
All right, it's over.
All right.
That's so
All right.
boring.
All right, so
God,
let's-
bro. What the hell?
Oh, you have it already?
So-
Sweet.
So Insider
PS5
Gaming,
Pro.
PS5 Pro release date, plans, and console details. All right, let's see what we got here. PlayStation 5 Pro is aiming for a November 2024 release date. That sounds valid.
That's my
mid-
anniversary month,
That's
baby.
mid cycle.
How many years is that? When did PS5 come out? 20 what?
4
It's
years
been out
ago?
for 3 or 4 years, right?
19, 20,
Yeah.
Is it-
So
Help me out,
20.
somebody.
somewhere. I
Chat.
think it was
Help us.
2020.
release year of the PS5.
We started the podcast in 19.
It's
Okay,
usually
so then 20.
okay.
So it probably was 20.
So that's
we're at
accurate. About 5 years.
4 years, yeah. So then, okay, so that sounds right. All right. According to the new report,
Look at
from
that current
Key to
player
Gaming,
count. Sorry, current
Okay,
player
oh.
count as of an hour ago, 166,000 when it was 1.6 million.
Ooh,
At its
my
highest.
goodness.
Sheesh.
6.1 million.
Oh my
Sheesh.
goodness.
Code
I
Yes,
did
Name.
see that
2020.
Spider-Man bundle actually. That's
Yeah.
funny. you
Yeah,
said
we
that.
saw it yesterday.
That thing
Okay.
looks
Go ahead.
nuts.
Go ahead, Trav.
Project Trinity is already having a demo event held to showcase the improvements. It's also stated that majority of the studios will receive development kits by late November 2023. Damn, that's kind of late in the game. You think they would want it out? You know,
That gives them a whole year.
Hold-
Oh, but that only gives them a whole year.
it
Yeah.
only gives them a year.
It only
As-
gives a year for development.
As
yeah,
far
yeah.
as specs are concerned, those, according to the reports, have been tough to obtain. However, two things that we do know are that the PS5 Pro will feature 18,000
MTs.
MTs of
I don't know
memory.
that.
Don't just
and
say a
30
random word. Just don't say a random. Just say MTs.
30 wet ass.
Nulik, what does MTs mean? Nulik, all right? Don't start saying random shit. This ain't a Thursday night. All right?
Militix.
Militix. Militix. All right. Why do they put the word group processor parenthesis so we know what WGP is,
Yeah.
Yeah, but not MT.
but not
Yeah.
MTs?
Help me.
Performance targets for the PS5 include improved frame rates per second, FPS, as well as better FPS stability performance at
At
4K
4K.
resolution and 8K
8K
performance
performance.
mode and accelerated ray tracing. The last thing
Ooh.
mentioned in the report is that the PS5 Pro is likely to be the last major hardware release from Sony for the current generation. After that, they will focus to expect to shift development for the PlayStation 6, the Sixer.
All right, so it looks like I'm getting a Pro next year.
Yeah, right.
We all getting pros, baby.
Who wants my PS5? Oh, we should do a giveaway. Giveaway in PSNBS PS5.
A used up PS5.
Ooh. Hey, it's still a PS5.
It's still a
it's still
PS5.
Shit, I can get at least 300 for it.
You can get 5 still.
MT is short for mega transfers.
Mega transfer.
I'm going with Mega Ticks.
No,
I like Mega Ticks. That's funny.
Mega Ticks. Okay. What are the teraflops? We got to see the teraflops. That was Xbox's big thing. We got more teraflops, guys.
We're the
than
teraflops.
PS5. I don't even know what a teraflop is.
So, anyways, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, we got to get to
last
Diablo.
words on Diablo Campfire, man. I knew what they were gonna feed us.
It was
Yeah,
about what I expected. I mean, future. I guess it's good that the patch is coming out a couple days after next Friday.
Yeah.
That's quicker than I expected
Yeah.
something to happen. That's all I can say. Until I see what the patch exactly has in it, I can't really judge as of right now.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And
it is what I thought it would be.
It's the characters we're not even playing right now anymore, too. So
Right.
it's
Those
like
are my characters in Eternal. So I
in
don't
the
even-
Eternal realm. So now
In
for
the
me, it's
second
like
place.
whatever. All right,
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me though. That was
no
fun.
problem, man.
I enjoyed that.
We got about an hour before we gotta 45 minutes. We gotta get ready. So I'm gonna do some more Diablo stuff.
I'll see you on the mic.
Adios.
All right, another stream. Purple Hearts for the most lovable.
Always. Happy birthday, Dan.
Play in peace, Biggs. Happy birthday,
Parking lot
Dan.
problems.
Take it easy, chat. Thanks
We'll
for having
see
me.
ya.
Peace.
You're